Good afternoon, everyone. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It's so great to see people that are feeling very empowered about fighting for healthcare, because that's exactly what we need to be doing. I practiced medicine for 17 years as a pediatrician, which actually right now in the United States is longer than average for primary care providers who are burning out between 10 and 15 years of practice at a time when we have a shortage of primary care providers. After years of fighting with insurance companies and struggling, in about 13 years ago, I decided I need to start figuring out what's going on. Why is it this way? Why do the insurance companies make the health decisions for my patients instead of me? And so I got active in health advocacy. And 10 years ago, I decided to leave practice altogether and focus full time on this fight. So in 2009, 2010, I was down here every day during the healthcare fight as a congressional fellow for Physicians for a National Health Program, fighting to put national improved Medicare for All on the table at a time when 80% of Democratic voters wanted it, and we had Democrats in the White House and Democratic majorities in the House and the Senate. It was off the table. Now we're under a Republican administration and healthcare is under attack again. But we saw just a week ago what happens when people rise up and fight back. We are the ones who have the power to determine what we need and what we want. For the past 40 years in the United States, we have undergone a unique experiment. No other country in the world treats healthcare as a commodity, something where profit is more important than people. And we see very clearly what the results of this experiment are. We spend twice as much per person per year on average on healthcare. We spend more in public dollars alone per person than other industrialized countries spend, and they cover everyone. They have better health outcomes and longer life expectancies. We are paying for universal health care, high-quality comprehensive health care right now, but we aren't getting it. I'm one of the 29 million people in the United States that does not have health insurance. But in addition to us, there are tens of millions more who have health insurance and they can't afford health care. Medical bankruptcies due to medical illnesses continue in this country. They don't happen in any other industrialized nation. So we have to be really clear. After my experience in 2009, 2010, I came away with three main points. If we are going to finally win a healthcare system that's based on human rights principles, that's truly universal, like other industrialized nations have, we need to have these three factors in our fight. One is that we have to be independent of political party. Our allegiance is to our issue. If there is a party that will put forward our issue with our demands, then we will support that. But if they are not with us, we are going to fight against them. Yeah. And we have to recognize that neither of the major parties has single-payer health care in their platform.
That's right.
We have to be clear about what works. If health care is a human right, then there are 5 principles that it must meet. It must be universal. It must be equitable. People must have a voice in how it's determined, and it must be transparent and accountable. That's what we're fighting for. That's what a human rights principle looks like. We have too many politicians that are willing to say they believe healthcare is a human right, but they support legislation that bails out the insurance industries and the pharmaceutical industries. We're not going to tolerate that anymore. And we have to be uncompromising in our demand. We are so often told what's on the table, what's not on the table, and we're told we have to accept that because politics is all about negotiating, right? When it comes to fundamentals like our human lives, there is no negotiating. Gandhi said it, you can't compromise on fundamentals because it's all give and no take. So we have to set the bar of what we want in this country. We are paying enough right now to provide high quality, comprehensive health care to every single person. Are you willing to fight for that?
Yeah!
So we cannot be taken off track. In 2009, the Democrats put forward something called a public option. They used it to divide the movement for health care. This was a time when 80% of Democratic voters wanted a single-payer system. So they used the public option to convince people that it was a path to single payer when it's not. that it was all that we could accept and it's what we should be fighting for, and they were successful. They pumped tens of millions of dollars into organizations that created a coalition that was organizing around this, and the White House Chief of Staff, Jim Messina, met with them every Tuesday at the Hilton on Connecticut Avenue and told them what they could and could not say. And it divided the movement, and it worked. We have to be clear this time. We cannot go down that path again. When they say public option, we say no. We say Medicare for all. Now it's what the majority of people want. Even Republicans are coming to our side. In the most recent poll, 52% of Republicans of low income, under $30,000 a year, want this. 34% of Republicans that are earning under $75,000 a year want this. That's a 20% increase in 1 year. Just yesterday, Charles Krauthammer had an article in the Washington Post arguing for single payer, and the day before that it was Fareed Zakaria. These are conservatives arguing that capitalist countries understand that government has to provide health care for everyone or it's not going to work. So what is stopping us? I just want to show this sign. We've had this sign for a number of years. Mr. President, how long must we wait? Does anybody know where that phrase came from? How long must we wait, Mr. President? It's what the suffragettes told their president when they were fighting for the right to vote. How long must we wait? That is up to us. So I want to tell you about a few events that are coming up that you can get involved with. We have a campaign called Health Over Profit for Everyone. We do national education and organizing calls every other Monday night. This week we are launching our National Week of Writing In and Calling Into Congress. We're very excited that Congressman John Conyers has reintroduced his National Improved Medicare For All bill. We have 78 co-sponsors. That's much more than we've had at this time in the past. And that's because people are going to the town halls and people are calling in and writing in. We just met with Senator Sanders' staff yesterday to get clarity on what he's doing, because we were getting some mixed messages there. And we were told that he is introducing a National Improved Medicare For All bill similar to the one in the House, that it's going to be a more fleshed out version. That's good news. Let's hear it for that.
Yeah.
We also understand that he is not going to introduce a bill for the public option. That's good news too, because we have to unify around fighting for what we need. So next week on healthoverprofit.org, we'll have a tool that makes it really easy for people to call in information on how you write in. And then on Friday, we're going to be out in front of the Department of Health and Human Services at noon, protesting an International Day of Solidarity against the privatization of healthcare. It's called Our Health Is Not For Sale, and actions are going to be happening all around the world. So I hope that you'll get involved in this fight and understand that we have the power. The only thing that is standing in our way right now, we have the money, we have the resources, we know what the policy is, we have popular support for it. 60% of people across the board are in support of this. The only thing that is standing in our way is these members of Congress.
Yep.
And when we get loud enough, and we get angry enough, and we are persistent enough, we will win, and then every person in the United States will have access to health care from birth to death without medical bankruptcies. And that's what we deserve. It's time to join the rest of the industrialized world and have a healthcare system that we can truly be proud of. So thank you so much.
Yeah.